for some more WECG action here at the Korea National Finals for StarCraft 2. And we're going into a Protoss versus Protoss series now. TY taking that last game with, you know, just trading there, going in there, knowing that at the very end he was going to be able to kill the last of those banelings, takes the win. Just a small recap for you guys. Definitely go back and watch the VOD if you missed it. But Super now, it's his chance. He did very well in his Protoss versus Protoss group last time, coming out in first place.
Yeah, and he's up against another Protoss here, of course, or I guess, as our screen here does say, maybe another Prots. Could possibly be up against a Prots.
Could be. We'll have to wait and see.
Looks like he's part of Invasion Esports now.
Yeah, just joined. I think the news was either announced last night or this morning. I never sleep. I'm all about esports. I'm on esports all the time. So
you're on esports.com constantly.
Yeah, I don't sleep, but yeah, I've known about that for a while. I'm glad it's finally announced now. He's been able to join that new team, and they're definitely going to be really happy with how much he's been able to accomplish so far in this tournament. But he's up against Stats, who was able to take victories off of Cure and then win against Younghwa in the rematch. Now, ordinarily, I would give Stats the edge in a match like this. The best of 5, he's got a lot of experience, he's got a really good team to train with, but I feel like, honestly, Super has a lot of booth experience in StarCraft 2. Stats looked a little bit shaky, a little bit nervous. He had a lot of time to get himself back together and play a completely different matchup before he had that rematch. This time he's not going to have the time. Apparently, we don't even have breaks today, so
apparently,
so he's gonna be able to. Rather, Super's going to be able to get in his head a little bit, and Stats doesn't really have time to think about things. If he gets down early, I worry for him here, because last time he was clearly a bit off.
Definitely agree. Well, guys, here we do have the bans and picks for the maps. Foxtrot Labs, banned here by Super, and Nimbus, banned there by Stats. Then we got King Sage Station first pick for Stats, then Catalina and Overgrowth for sets 2 and 3. Deadwing will be number 4, and Merry-Go-Round down there as the last set. Yeah,
they changed the graphic to make it look like the 5th map is not really a pick. It's arguable that it is, that it isn't, because, I mean, you pick 2 maps for your last one, sort of. You just really pick the order. But I kind of like that it's shown like that, because it does kind of give the idea that really you pick one map, the other one just is the map. You didn't
kind of just like neither of them actually picked it, so it's just kind of the last one.
The last kid picked on the playground for dodgeball, but at least he didn't get banned like the other 2, like really scrawny kids are really bad. Like they just got banned from the dodgeball field.
They're like, you can't play with us. I'm sorry, you're just way too bad.
They've got to go back to the sandbox, man. All right, guys, King Sejong Station, a great map. My favorite map to start out a PvP series. We're jumping into it. Game number 1 here at the WECG Korea Nationals.
Down here in the bottom right, in the red, one of our Protoss players, it is Super.
And, of course, the top left, his opponent in blue, it's Stats. Loves his air toss. Not so much in this matchup as don't normally get there, but you know, he will definitely make his Tempest against your Colossi if we go to all the way to the late game. He might be the first person to make a Mothership, too, if it comes to that in PvP.
Yeah.
Feeling like we're going to see a 3-gate out of Super on this map. That's my gut feeling.
Yeah, you know what? We do definitely see that a lot of the time. He's actually kind of known for it, especially on this map. So if I'm Stats, I watch all those games. I know it as well. And I feel like Stats is actually going to be ready for it. He's going to do a very defensive build against it, just be able to hold it off.
There's the 11-gate, so that's already the first sign that we might be seeing something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a defensive build like a 2-gate into you know, his own Twilight Council, or even just taking a Stargate play, it could be quite good for Stats. If he goes 2-gate into it, obviously it'll delay his tech. But against Super on map number 1, I might want to just test the waters on that, just go a little bit safer. We'll be able to tell in just a second here whether or not he's going to do that by how he mines his gas, how many workers he puts in. Obviously taking 2 gases right off the bat here. However, notice he takes them a little bit slower, which gives him a little bit of a mineral lead here.
Yeah. Sends out that 1 rally probe, gets a decent scout here, doesn't want to be cheesed out of the first game.
Yeah, they both just scout their mains, but nothing else. In fact, it looks like Super might do a real scout now, though it's very delayed. He's actually just going to check behind his mineral line before he goes across, because it's a very common proxy location.
Yeah. And with that faster gate comes the faster core. No 2-gate off the back of this, not yet at least. Just trying to get that 1-gate up here in the fast cybernetics core.
Okay, scouts just barely miss each other, it looks like. We got a Stalker, we got Warp Gate Research coming up here first for Super, and what do you know? Stats of that second gateway. Man, I really feel that this is the sort of thing that, like, if you prepare well, it's something that as a commentator you can reasonably predict, and as a pro player I think it's just something that you should do. Super's the type of player, his style is so known, it's like so apparent. There's never any guessing. You look at a player like Stats, it's not as easy. You look at a player like Classic, it's definitely not easy.
No.
You look at Hero, his stats, or rather his style is pretty apparent. But Super is that type of, or rather Stats is that type of guy who could just say, okay, I know what you're probably going to do. You're probably going to be aggressive. You're probably going to have your gateways up faster, maybe a faster Twilight Council, some sort of aggression. And I just need to be ready for that. By getting 2 gates up, I can scout, put on a little bit of pressure, have my Stalkers out a little bit faster. Do things like this.
I really like this out of Stats. Just such careful play. Seems like he's got Super's number so far. He kind of knows exactly what Super's going to do before he even does it. And goes for his own Twilight Council here. Could add a 3rd gate as well just to be defensive.
And one of the keys of the reason why he can come out here and kill his pylon is because he went 2 gates. So he knows that he's going to win the Stalker fight in just a second if Super is brave enough to challenge him. Because he's got that extra production.
Yeah. Mainly spending that Chrono Boost on the Warp Gate, wants to get out the faster units rather than the faster Blink. And with that, like I just said, he is going to have some pretty fast units here. Not making them just yet.
Super is also counter-checking for pylons right now. Really wants to make sure that his opponent doesn't stab him in the back if he starts to hold here with that first warp in, or rather that first Nexus Cannon. Oh, there's that 11-gate man coming into play here, those faster Stalkers. And now it's 3 versus 4. He's got that high ground, but he's going to need the Nexus Cannon to hold on here. There it is, right away. He can't even spare a second on this one.
Yeah. Still, he's got the faster warp-ins. Here we see a robotics facility made here for Stats. Wants to get out those Immortals. He knows what's coming up here.
Yep, and this is really cool. This is really good for Stats. He's read this build basically perfectly. Just wants to check and see if there's a Nexus. Good deny here. And I think after that deny, Super will probably continue the attack. But Stats is going to have his own counter blink. He has that fast robo to work with as well. He's got high ground. He's in a really good position. The only thing that he's down on is workers, because he's cut harvesters to be ultra safe. And that means that Super actually has a better economy, and he's got a few extra resources because he didn't make a robo to have a better Stalker count. So here come those Stalkers, and he's going to have to blink, but Super's going to be right on his tail.
He's going to have to blink first. Super will. Just barely, it looks like.
All right, that sentry is so critical. All right, he could do the 1 blink up. He could do the 1 blink up, and there it is. He's up. And that's way too many Stalkers. Yep. This is a very big problem here. He's starting to do some good blink micro, but the second that blink is off cooldown, you can guarantee he's going to blink right on top, right away from those probes. In fact, I guess he could just be more careful.
Yeah, he's just going to do this. Nice blink micro so far. Stats is holding it off, but he's losing so many probes. He's got 12, and now still with the bigger Stalker count is Super. Looks like his build has paid off, and he comes in here. He's going to kill all these Stalkers now, trying to do the blink micro with Stats, but it's just not going to work.
No, that Immortal's about to get blunked.
Too late, that Immortal.
He should not have gone that far down the ramp. He got a bit curious, and you move out down the ramp like that, you get curious like that. Next thing you know, your opponent's got more Stalkers than you because he did cut. He didn't know the Nexus wasn't up. He didn't know the Nexus wasn't up because his probe died. He wasn't sure what was going on. He made a robo. Maybe his opponent's making a robo at home. So there's this lack of information. He made a judgment call. It wasn't wrong from like a complete, from his perspective.
Yeah.
Like if you look at his perspective, his call isn't wrong. But for this game, it ends up being wrong because his opponent has not spent those resources, has the faster next warp and his Stalkers, and I'll let Leon out.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna have, I think, a longer game going into game number 2.
Definitely. The thing I love about that game